So hello everyone, good morning. My name is Corinne Noel. I am a part-time instructional assistant at MDC in the Learning Resources Department. I do work as a instructional part-time instructional assistant, but I'm also a student as well. My major is paralegal studies, and I'm close to finishing. So I'm talking to you today as not as an employee, but as a fellow student. And what we're going to discuss today is what I wish I knew as an MD student slash MDC hacks. So we're just going to talk about a few things when it comes to your classes, student discounts, financial aid, book events, things that you would need to know as an MDC student that we wish that someone told us before, would have made life a lot easier for, all of us. So we'll just get right into it. So normally we're gonna like when you have your classes, um, now because of COVID, of the excuse me, of course with COVID, um, it has opened doors to virtual classes. So you'll either be doing it via Zoom or through Blackboard. And then some of the classes like we had pre-pandemic, there were vast majority of those classes were taken on campus. So a lot of times if when you're a freshman or you haven't been to an MDC campus or um, MDC campuses, they actually do have different buildings. So no two buildings on two campuses are the same. So right now you're in Wilson campus and our buildings are all numbered. So we have from 1 through 9 currently. Um, so for example, if you were looking for your classroom, the classroom's number would be um, the building number first, and then the floor, and then the room number. So if we'll take, for example, the first one that's here, which is 4507. If you encounter anyone, or now we have kiosks that make it a whole lot easier for us. If you were to look on a schedule, um, on your MDC schedule, you should see that um, the building number was the the building number is indicated by the first number, so it's building 4, and then the floor is the second one, which would be built floor 5, and then the room number is '07. So in total, that's the room number if you were looking. So that's one MDC hack that will save you a whole lot of time and will that you'll encounter less problems per se. And also another thing that's actually really good about MDC is that we have the numbers or the indicators of where the building is. So you can't miss it really. Now we're gonna go on to student discounts. This actually helps a lot. Um, we do have there are varying apps and as well as different places or different websites that actually do cater to students and do give out student discounts. So we have here Unidays, which is good for student discounts. You can, get things like 10% off on shopping essentials like AOS, Gymshark, um, then several other places, and also they do cashback advantages, and then they have student beans as well. That does the same exact thing, and you can get discounts on different brand name items and whatnot. Also, too, things that students don't know is that a lot of the restaurants around the downtown area or wherever your campus is located, you can always ask for a student discount. The employees will never tell you that there's actually a student discount, that they give out student discounts. But if you ask if you have a student discount at like a restaurant, they'll give it to you. As far as websites go, there are a couple of other places that do school education discounts as well. HP um, does discounts. Samsung does education discounts for students as well. And Apple does as well, but I think it's like about 10% for Apple, more or less. So you can actually go to their education store. All of them have education stores. All you need to do is just really register as a student, prove that you're taking classes as a student. And this applies to those who are in K through 12 as well. So if you want to, you can, you know, jump on that as well. Just as long as you're a student and that you can prove you're a student, it saves you a whole lot of funds, and your bank account will thank you. These are some of the things that you know, they more than likely would um have discounts on. So like a YouTube Premium, we have Amazon Prime Student that gives a discount to students. Apple does the same thing, Best Buy, Groupon, and the list goes on and on. So as a student, you do have a lot of discounts to your advantage. Like I said before, it saves a lot of money and your bank account will thank you. So now this is just a quick fix. If you do get food stuck into your keyboard, it's a pain, it's a hassle. So you can actually use a Post-it, and you would use the back part of it, the sticky part of it, and then either slide it on there, or you can actually just use the sticky part to just take them up. Also, another hack for that as well is if you actually go to Five Below. Five Below is something that you don't want to sleep on. They do actually have a cup. I wish I had it. Um, and it's kind of like a slime, but it's specifically for your electronics. If you get anything stuck in your electronics, it's there and it's moldable. It's fun to play with, but it also cleans, you know, your keyboard and gets the food from underneath there. So that's another thing as well. So now, did you know that the on MDC website that they have the academic calendar, and this tells you when registration begins, um, when you have a deadline to add or drop classes, when the term starts exactly, when you get your refunds, and when, whether or not you're able to get a refund, or for example, if you want to get rid of, not get rid, or drop a class for the term, um, you can actually look to see if you can drop a class with a refund or without a refund, when it will be on your transcripts, whether when you'll get penalized for it, or when you can drop it without being penalized for it. And this kind of is a little bit having to do with financials and financial aid, which we'll talk about a little later. Because a lot of you are probably like, what is refunds and what are you talking about? So we're going to talk about a little bit more of that when it comes to the financial aid part. Another, did you know that you can actually add, drop your classes, view your academic report, all on MDC Connect. And that's what MDC Connect is for. And it's kind of like a self-service. So let's say, for example, you really don't have time to see your advisor, or you just don't want to see your advisor at all, but you've seen your advisor, they've given you your course list for whatever major that you want to do. So all you do is you go into MDC Connect and you go to your username, you type in your username and then whatever password that you chose, and then you sign in. And once you sign in, and make sure, yeah. So once you sign in, I wish I can show you this. Let me just pause my screen for a little bit and let me actually get that underway. Let me know if you're able to see this, Patrick.
Yes, and for those who just joined us, Corinne is just going in through MDC Connect and showing you a few tips on adding classes, dropping classes, and making adjustments to your schedule, and even checking your schedule. So just wanted to get them caught up.
Yeah, okay. So as Patrick was saying, we're right now on MDC Connect, and this is my personal student account. So as you can see here, you can see where you can search for your classes, you can plan for your classes, enroll for your classes, and my academics. So let's say, for example, because I actually do have to sign up for classes for fall of 2022, these are some of the classes that I would need to take, and these are my paralegal classes. These are in my cart. So let's say, for example, like if I was to shop for it. So let's say this is the plan section part of it. So if I wanted to find my classes, I can go either put in the MBR, which is a lot more difficult because normally that's used by your advisors, or unless you know how to use it, then that's, fine as well. But another easier way for students to find their classes is go to find classes, and where it says class search, and you search for your classes. Now, for example, I'm in the paralegal studies, so I would have to go to PLA, and that's paralegal and legal assistant, and I can put in 22, 23. I believe that should be one. Yep. And this one is legal or trial practice and appeals. So for example, if I wanted to take this class, normally there should be an enroll here. So if I were to click on this class, yeah. So this one's actually one of these ones that are normally it'll have like enroll here. So let me actually just take one of these classes. I'm going to take the PLA 2104. So let me just go back really. So like if you want to do a new search, you can do that as well. I'm going to actually modify my search so that I'm not starting over again. So 2204. Oops. No. This is not it. There we go. Okay, let's do 2104, sorry. Not the wrong class, 2104. So we're gonna go back to class search, and then I'm gonna put in PLA 2104. And then also too, what you can do as well is, for example, like if you're taking like your general education courses or your prerequisite courses, it's best that you specifically put the campus that you want to go to. So for example, if you live in Kendall campus, like live close to the Kendall campus, and you don't want to travel all the way to Wilson campus for a specific or a general ed or a prereq course, and it's available there, you can go to where it says campuses and then click on the campus. I'm going to put in Wilson, for example, and Wilson campus for a location as well, because even if you don't put the location, it'll just give you a broad search. But of course, specifically for what I'm putting in, Wilson campus only offers this program. North campus, very few, but currently right now, it's just Wilson that's doing all of the paralegal studies program. So here we go. So we see right here that we have two options for two classes. And this one, normally it should say select on both, but this one says select. So what I can do is it'll show you the class section of where exactly it's going to, like how long the class is. So this is one of the 12-week courses. So this is a little shorter than the full term or the main session as they have on the top one right here. And then they tell you where the room is. So now a lot of times, as well as a side note, that when it says TBA, it's gonna mean certain things. So pre-pandemic, it used to mean that it's not determined yet where you're going to actually have it. So you may know within like that week, at least before, class starts, where exactly your class is going to be. However, now well, we're still in the pandemic, but just slowly getting back into the swing of things while dealing with COVID. Um, so now a lot of our classes are integrated and actually are using MDC Live. So now this can also mean that your classes will be either through Zoom and for right now, Blackboard until everything shifts over onto Canvas, which we'll talk about, a little later as well. So now these classes where it says the room is TBA, this is MDC Live. You'll know your instructor's name. So the only one that's doing it is Mercedes Medina, and then the meeting times and the date. So you can choose either one. I'm just going to put the one that says select. So you go ahead and you select the course, and then you click on next. So it's added pretty much to my to my to my course, not my course, but like to my shopping cart, for example. And if I wanted to, I can validate or I can delete, and I can also enroll as well. So once you have like your shopping cart filled or you got the classes you want, you go ahead, you make sure to validate it just to make sure that there's no conflicting times. And then also you can enroll after that as well. I'm not going to enroll, but I just wanted to show you how that works. So now we're going to go back to the presentation part as well. Ooh, not from the beginning. Hold on just 1 second. Let's go all the way down here on current slide. Okay, there we go. So this is what we were talking about. Like you can search for your classes. So those are the different tabs. Of course, you can search for your classes that way. You can plan for your classes on what exactly you want to take without actually putting or enrolling in them. And then when you're ready to enroll, you'll have that part that we saw and you can just enroll in those classes. And then also my academics, if you have your major that you definitely want to do, that actually is the degree audit for that. So it shows you how many credits you need, how many credits you've taken so far, how many you have left, and whether or not you have a certain amount that actually would qualify you for graduation if you have enough and you're almost finished. So this one as well, this one is an additional search. So let me just pause my screen and then we'll go back to the MDC Connect again, and I'll share that one with you. Let's see, we'll resume this share again. You guys should be able to see this again, the Connect webpage. And where that circled part was where it said additional search criteria. So now this is like a further narrow of your search. So it tells you like what exactly you want. So if you wanted your classes to be however long, if it's available, like for example, if you want dynamic dates, those are mostly seminars, which you won't need to worry about unless you have to for your major. But a lot of times you would probably need like maybe this first 6 weeks or the second 6 weeks, which would be in the spring, or you would have, for example, let's go down, a 12-week, which is normally like the fall, like for 12 weeks, or you can do a full term. You can do also narrow it down to the mode of instruction, what you want to do, which is blended, in person, you can do MDC Live, you can do online, and you can do web enhanced. So those are the options that you have. You also have the days of the week that you want to choose. Any day of the week, as long as it's available, it'll narrow down that search to what you want to do. So as far as that goes for the additional search, that would help you to find your class that actually gives you that little niche that you want for yourself and for your classes as well. So now to the next slide we have, so this slide right here talks about when you have your class type, you found your class, this class is now in your schedule. So this becomes available to you, or this becomes important when you actually have to get your books from the bookstore. I used to work in the bookstore previously, and a lot of times none of the students knew where their sections were. But if you actually have your paid class schedule, you'll see like a section right by the class number, and that section is 25. So that tells you specifically not only the instructional mode of it, but it also tells you exactly who's taking, or specifically the professor who's going to take your class as well. So, okay, that was interesting. Okay, and then also too, when you look as like I did when I expanded my class, it'll also tell you like your like what exactly it'll give you greater detail. It's best for me to just show you, so give me one moment. I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. Um, that's a lot of this. Let's see, student center, there we go. Going through a lot of back and forth, so I'm sorry, forgive me. So if we were to go to plan, for example, and I was to go to one of my courses that I have planned to take, if I were to click on this class, this is what normally would come up. It's not much or it's not a lot, but it tells you exactly when your classes would start, it would end, of course, your instructors, your the the session, or the amount of time, like how long it's going to be. So the session is how long the class is going to be. This is a full course. From August 22nd, which is the first day of classes, but it's not the first day of your actual class, whatever, day it is. And it's till the end of, the term, or the end of that specific day um, that your class ends. So that's pretty much how it looks. And then sometimes it'll say, like as it said in the one before, as I said in the one before, it'll tell you like your instruction mode, it'll tell you the class components, and it'll tell you all the various things that you need to know prior to you actually adding your class. And it helps you decide whether or not you actually want to do that class. So another thing that we have that is very, very useful to all students is Navigate. Now, Navigate is fairly new to students. So MDC Navigate is how you can communicate with your advisor, see what academic requirements you need to complete for your degree or program. You can set up your own tutoring appointments for math and science, and as well as writing and reading as well. So you can actually do that as well, instead of staff members actually having to help you to do all of that. So of course you would use your user ID. So that's pretty much your username, what you use for all of your MDC logins, and then the password that you made up for your MDC login as well. So pretty much your username and password for Connect, your student portal, Blackboard, that's all the same with Navigate as well. Now to this part, which is the part we were talking about, which is your refund. So students that are eligible for financial aid, they would get normally a refund. So you would get a certain amount of money as long as you're approved for financial aid. And this certain amount of money covers your tuition, it covers your books, but book advance is something different, even though it falls underneath that umbrella. But you do get, if you have funds left over from your tuition and book advance, you get that money back. So if it's your first time or you're a freshman, you'll get something in the mail for your book advance. Sorry, not your book advance, but for your refund. Please, please, please do not throw that away because it's really important, because that's how you get your money back from the school. So um so you'll get a mail, as I was saying, you'll get something in the mail, and you are able to choose which options you want to do. Of course, you have to sign on online and do that, and you can either have it by mail, you can actually have a credit card that they provide for you, and you can set up a checking account that way. And then if you have your own bank that you have, you can have it directly deposit to that. Now, the best one to do um, is so to avoid any delays, just try to get that done within the time frame that they're asking of you. The best option I would say for any students is to set up an account. Set up your own account at a bank of your choice, um, and then have it directly deposit. Because if you get it mailed in the mail, there's a risk of somebody actually taking it. And then with the bank mobile vibe checking account, they do provide you with a card, but the only problem is that you actually have to go to in order to get those funds, you have to use the ATMs on campus in order to do that. I'm not sure if it's changed, but at least I remember it being that you had to use the ATMs on campus in order to get your refunds. So you couldn't go to any other bank. It had to be specifically at the campus or at the campuses. So of course, I just explained this to you. But to deposit in an existing account, so pretty much if you have your own bank account, Bank Mobile, which is the service that actually will receive your funds from the school, that normally takes 1 to 2 business days to receive that into your bank account. Now, the Bank Mobile deposits, um, that if you have, a Bank Mobile Vibe checking account, the money is deposited there on the same day, and Bank Mobile receives that from your school. However, like I said, at least I could be wrong, but I remember when years ago that they gave you the card, but you only can use it at the ATMs on campus. Now, the paper check takes a while. And I can tell you that because for my first for my first check or my first refund, I did the paper check and it took a while. So normally this takes 5 to 7 business days for the check to arrive, and that depends on the postal office's time frames. So you may get it within 5 days, you may get it within 7 days, probably even longer. It all depends. So now, in order to know how much you are receiving in aid, or if you have received aid, um, you can actually do that by going to mdc.edu, going to um, okay, fine. So going to financial aid, and it'll show you these so it'll show you different types of things and receiving aid. Now, if you want to know if you've received aid or how much you've received, you can go to this quick links and view your awards and refunds. And what that'll do is it'll take you to a different link, and that different link will have you log in with your regular MDC ID or credentials, and then you're able to look and see, at least for spring, for fall and spring, you're able to see how much you get as far as tuition money goes, book advance, and whatnot. Now, if you're, I wouldn't say a gym junkie, but if you are wanting to get healthy, wanting to get fit, we do have those available on campus. We actually, as a matter of fact, have 3 campuses that have gyms. So we have Kendall campus, North campus, and our very own here at Wilson campus. Now, the one for Wilson campus is building 7, the first floor, and the room is 7109. And their contact information is here. And well, this is not the gym, but the Wilson Campus and Fitness Wellness Center is equipped with the state-of-the-art equipment. So they have pretty much everything you need, even though it looks tiny when you're actually in person, but it has everything. If you want to do weight training, you can do that. If you want to do cardio, you can do that. If you want to do some strength exercises, floor exercises, cycling, you name it, they have it there. And of course, it's open to all students, employees, and also retirees as well. They are open from Monday to Friday. They're not open, of course, because of, you know, after the pandemic. They've actually adjusted their hours from Monday to Friday. And so Monday to Friday, they're actually from 6 to 6. So 6 a.m. in the morning to 6 a.m. in the evening, 6 p.m. in the evening. And Saturdays, they're closed for now. They do also have classes that are offered. So far I've seen abs on the go, I've seen circuit training. Sometimes they have their own little fitness express as well. They do have small groups that run from Monday to Friday at different times. You can actually go down there and you can actually ask, or you can call as well. And one thing I forgot to mention as well, if you are a student and or an employee, because I know Patrick's on here. So for students and employees, it's a flat rate. So if you go to UFIT, they're gonna tell you it's $10 to go ahead and sign up per month, but also they have like a $50 annual fee that you have to pay at the end of, every year. Whereas opposed here, because you're a student, because you're an employee, retiree, whatever you may be, it's a flat rate. So for a student, if you were to pay every month, it's $10. It's $30 for the term, and then it's $60 for the whole year. So whenever you sign up the following year, then your membership will be up. For employees and retirees, that's totally different. But for students, it's best for you because it's flat rate, it's cheap, and you get the same amount of equipment and care taken for students at the same rate as you would at a regular gym. So it'll be best for you to take advantage of that as well. So now we also do have health and wellness. And when we're talking about health and wellness, we're talking about a wide spectrum of disabilities. So if you have a disability, we do have what is called the Access Department. The Access Department is catered for those who have disabilities. They provide note takers, they have excessive assistive technologies, they have interpreters, and they have many more things at your disposal. So if you are interested or if you have a disability, you can go there. It's on building 1, which if you're on campus is across, but it's in building 1, it's on the first floor, and it's room 1180. And the contact information is there. And then this is more for the disability services and where you can find those disability services. So if you were to type in possibly in the search bar, I can show you that. Just give me 1 second to go back. So if we were to go to this search bar right here, and let's put in access. And you see right here where it says Access Miami-Dade College. And then this gives a host of services. So they tell you what they do, what is their services, what they assist in. So they do have sign language interpreters. I've seen a few in my classes where I've had a deaf student in my class, and she actually had interpreters that were from the Access Department. They do have note takers. So I've seen again, in some of my classes, I have seen students who have had disabilities and they have had note takers with them. They also have models for enhanced uh, employment development. So that's the MEAD program to assist, with students and staff members um, in helping them as well to get around and to help and assist with the person who has disabilities. And also they do have waivers, they do have program modifications needed. So again, if you have a disability, MDC does cater to you guys as well. So now on to the next slide. Okay. So now, again, going with the whole health thing, do not be afraid. And I say this, it's a note to everyone, do not be afraid to ask for help. And in the sense of mental health counseling, we do offer services for mental health. We do have counselors that are available on a rotating schedule throughout the week. And, students are available to up to 6 free counseling sessions with a licensed professional, and they are 60 minutes long and they're confidential. So if you do need help, or if you just need therapy or just want to actually just talk to someone, this is the number here. Her name is Mercedes Arenas, and this is her number, and then this is her email as well to contact her. So again, we do have again with help. Mental health is not just about physical health or or something that we see on the outside, but it's also something, as we said before, that has something to do with the inside of us as well, which is our mental health. So we do offer as well mental health first aid workshops, and that helps teach action plans to those who are experiencing mental health, emotional health, substance abuse, you name it, will help you with that. And the participants that actually are in this class, they or participate in this class will receive a 3-year national certification as a mental health first aider. So again, if you have any questions, the information is on the bottom. We also have something that's called MDC Helps, or Helping Everyone to Learn About Prevention Suicide. So that program gives everyone an awareness of suicide and how to catch, those subtle suicide, not suicide notes, but suicide suicidal thoughts, or those nonverbal cues or the verbal cues, mental health self-assessments, mental health awareness, and outreach programs to all the campuses in Miami-Dade College. And again, if you need help, or if you just want to know how to pick up on those cues, or just try to get help for yourself or anyone else, you can go to or you can contact this person for MDC Helps. Her name is Margaret De Janeiro, and she's the program manager that helps and assists in that. So now another thing that we're going to talk about that is very, very important as well. And I'm not sure how many of you guys have gone to the session for yesterday, or the workshop for yesterday, but there was one yesterday about single stop. Now, single stop is something that is very, very important. Like I said before, if you need help, go to single stop. Single stop does a number, and it's an advantage to a student and also their immediate family members who need help. So they assist tremendously, so that some of the some of the services that they provide are public benefit screening. So they will help you or assist you in obtaining SNAP, which is food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid. Also, they do have a food pantry They have financial coaching, financial awareness, individual counseling, tax preparation, and the list goes on and on. They even do help you if in case you do need housing, which is in this next one right here. So they do have different sources available to you. So if you do need housing, we know, so MDC does not have dormitories or, private residential dorms. However, they do assist in helping to, students and their families find housing if, they need so if they need be. They also do offer utilities as well. They do have if for example you need internet, they do have, those programs where they can provide you with that actually gives you access to internet as well. Transportation, immigration, again, as we said, the list goes on how to help you as a student excel to where you want to be. And again, we have also the um, student wellness. So if you were to go to the student wellness page, you can find that they have community, South Florida state and national wellness resources. And it's also in, you can always find a faculty and an employee that can connect you to those resources as well. So now we're going to talk about social life, student life. So there are many ways to get involved and at MDC. So we have Dance Plus, we have E3, we have the Haitian Bukan Club, we have Health and Wellness Organization that's on Wolfson campus as well. Human rights, we have SGA, that is a part of student life as well. And then also we have more with the Phi Theta Kappa, we have Phi Beta Lambda, and we have the Science or STEM Association. We have, as I said before, SGA, Pride Club, video games, list goes on and on. So if you want to, you can go ahead and sign up for the social or those clubs if you wanted to. And also, if you wanted to, you can do so, and it's a benefit to you as well because it will look good on your resume. So if you do want to get involved in those, my best option to tell you to do is go to student life, which is on the first floor of in Wilson campus, building 2, and on the first floor. I can't tell you right now the room number, but it's in building 2 and on the first floor.
Yeah, it's just right on the other side of that cafe. Just to the
Yeah.
left of it. So it's easy to see.
Yeah. We're just giving out directions today, Patrick. Okay, so again, if you can also do something as well, you can actually go to shark.net.mdc.edu, and you can actually create your own to join or to create your own student organization as well if you wanted to. So if you want to do that, that's something that you can think of as well.
Yeah, and I think also in the fall term, I think the first 1 or 2 weeks of the fall term, they usually have a lot of tables set out here at the Wolfson campus and at other campuses with all the different groups that are already formed that you can kind of go and explore and ask questions and see if that's something that you want to join and be involved in as a student. So there's an opportunity to do that. I'm not sure what the event is called, but it's you'll see it. There are tables out, and it's kind of a big event at the beginning of each term.
Yeah, so I don't remember it either. I think it's like student life or no, it's just like a beginning thing. Like it's like welcome to like the fall term or welcome to or sometimes they have like Shark or MDC Day where like all of the organizations they come out and you can sign up for that as well. So another thing that we're going to talk about, which is something that I mentioned earlier, is financial aid. So the financial aid is on mdc.edu and is /financial aid. There you can find your overview of how you can pay for your classes through financial aid, how you can sign up or they'll give you the website for how to sign up for financial aid. They'll tell you about the important documents that you need in order to sign up for financial aid, but also to have access to funds for financial aid. Also, they have important dates of when you need to actually take those important dates for you to actually have your documents in so that you are eligible for aid, and also that you have enough funds for book events and for them to cover your tuition. The workshop series, they help tremendously. Your document priority dates, when you need to actually send in those documents, your important forms. So those are the varying forms that will, again, that you will need in order to be eligible or be determined to be eligible for financial aid. And of course, verification to make sure and verify that they give you the right amount that you need, a right amount of tuition that you would need for each semester. So financial aid also does another host of services. So that would include financial coaching, no-net scholarships, and whatnot. And no-net is pretty much if you don't have the fees to cover. They do have a financial plan, so they set up that financial plan for you, and it's flexible payment options. And the best part about it is there's no interest if you go over your due date or anything like that. Now the financial student aid work programs, I experienced this and was a part of this. So I worked first as a student assistant at the Learning Resources Department here at Wilson before I became a part-time instructional assistant. And it helps you tremendously because when you're in these work programs, it helps you to have a time management. So that gives you that good work and study kind of balance. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and do that, and it's available both on and off campus. They do work with your schedules. Sometimes even you can find yourself at times, even while you're working, you're literally studying or you're actually working on your homework. So again, if you want to work and you want to study and you want to have that good balance, do a student work program first. And it does look good on your resume, and it does count as experience outside of MDC. So again, we have, different centers or institutes at Wilson campus. So we have the Reading and Writing Center, which provides tutorial assistance to students at all levels. So here at the Learning Resources Department, we do excel in that with reading, writing, speaking, and listening as well. And we do have a center for reading and writing as well. The Idea Center is, for, MDC students. So that, just to create, to innovate, and also to push forward those creative and innovative entrepreneurial ideas. And this helps for students to actually make their dreams of becoming an entrepreneur alive. So if you're interested in that, that's something that we have as well. We do have the Learning Spot, which is the academic support area, kind of like the Learning Resources Department. Learning Spot is the same way. Also, apps that help you with grammar issues can be Grammarly, and we do have something called a student feedback, and you can actually give a review to a professor, or you can view a review a professor before taking their classes. Another one that students like to use is Rate My Professor, which also gives you an overview idea of how students like the professor before you actually take that professor, and whether or not they recommend it, and then you can go from there. So also we have something that's called My MDC app. So My MDC app is very, very important. You can search for your classes, you can register for classes, look at your financial aid status, and a lot of different things. And also too, you can actually if you actually download that app, you have your virtual ID. So that's actually a cool thing about it. Also, another one is Blackboard. You can look at Blackboard on your iPhone or your iPad. You can look at your current grades, if you have any important assignments that needs to be done, and in case you're just not home and on your computer. And then also your email, MDC email is important because that's how you will get contact by um, all of your MDC professors, or where you would find very important documents from financial aid. So it's very, very important that you do look at your MDC emails. I can tell you right now, there are countless of times where I have seen students in our chats, after the first day of our classes, ask us, when are do we have class today? Do we have an assignment today? And they haven't checked their email, they haven't looked at Blackboard. So please look at your Blackboard, please look at your emails. Those are very important to you. Then also we have Student Portal, which is something that you can actually look at, which would be very important to a student because this is where everything is. So if you want your MDC login, how to register for classes, your Blackboard login, discounts as well on Metro Rail and class software. So that's even like with virus Norton as well. So like security for your laptop, you name it, you'll find those discounts or class software there. Now, the quick links, the student services, this is something for example, if you wanted to, current student, faculty, or staff, if you wanted to borrow a mobile device, Learning Resources does provide students, staff members with loaning a device or borrowing a device if you don't have one or if you need one. You can also schedule appointments with tutor, reserve study rooms, learning spaces, etc., etc. So if you want to go there, you can go to mdc.edu, go to our academics, learning resources, and you'll find those quick links there. As we can see here, academics, learning resources, and then the quick links are on the bottom. We do have a science and resource tutoring center here at Wilson campus, and that's 2221. And they do have free tutoring on these science courses, so chemistry, microbiology, anatomy, and physiology, you name it, they have it there. Of course, a library is a part of Learning Resources Department. So we have a library and we also have a computer courtyard. Our library currently right now is closed due to construction, and that is in 1216. Again, we're doing construction there. So everyone is actually at 2201, which is building 2, second floor, and the room number is 01. So everything you would need, we would have at computer courtyard for now. So if you want to, this is our course directory, where you can find all of the departments and what exactly you need here at Wilson campus, and the room numbers as well. And so that's all. That was a mouthful. But does anyone have any questions, any hacks that you would like to know about? I can be able to share that with you guys.
Thank you, Corinne. I know that's a lot of information that that Corinne shared today. All really important information when you're a student at MDC. And there's a lot of other things that were not covered today that you'll discover over your time here. And I think Corinne did a good job from her perspective of telling you her experiences and what she has gone through in her time here at MDC. If you could I'm going to also put in the chat to everybody just a quick survey. We'll see there. just to let us know about this workshop, the content. Any feedback would be helpful.